Hello, hi, and welcome to this episode of the Mandy Meyer podcast, proudly brought to you by the frogs busy making whatever noise a frog makes. Let me not say noise, that sounds horrible. Whatever amazing, beautiful sounds the frogs make to communicate. That's what this episode is brought by, because there's ponds, lakes, dams. No, that's been dramatic. There's water areas, bodies of water around where I stay. And the frogs, they just come alive. It is actually beautiful, but I really hope that the sound does not pull through to this episode. Okay, where was I? Let's digress. Welcome to South Africa's #1 health and fitness podcast, brought to you by the quacking of frogs. No, I'm joking. Welcome to this episode of the podcast. Let's just get straight into this episode of the podcast. Today, I come to you with a very short, but I want to say a bit of tough love kind of message episode. And that message is stop waiting for the right time to start. No matter what you want to start, no matter what your goal is that you are working on, for the love of the frogs that are chirping outside, now there's so much chirping, Mandy, for the love of the frogs that are quacking outside my apartment right now, stop waiting for the right time to start working on your goals. Your goals are quacking away with the frogs, getting further and further away from you because you are delaying it, because you are waiting for the right time. And let me explain that. It's not rare that I hear someone saying, oh, but Mandy, I can't start now because my best friend is getting married in 4 weeks' time. Or, oh, Mandy, I can't start my health and fitness expedition right now because I'm going on holiday in 6 months' time. Not 6 days' time, 6 months' time. Therefore, I'm going to wait until I get back from holiday so that when I start my health and fat loss expedition, I can focus on that. Or, oh, no, Mandy, I can't start working on my fat loss right now because it's just too stressful at work and, I'm busy working on getting a promotion and that might take place. It may or may not take place over the next 2 months. So I'm going to wait until I hear about that. Then I'm going to start on my fat loss expedition. That's what I mean by waiting for the right time. There's always something that is stopping you from starting now, that is stopping you from starting today, because it's either, like I said, a social event, or it's a holiday, or it's something at work, and you just feel that you can't tackle it the way that you want to tackle it. So then you're like, cool, I'm going to wait till after that event. I have a question for you right now. Is life not always full of events, right? So what's going to happen after you come back from that holiday? What might happen then is your bestie might be getting married. Oh my goodness, now we've got to wait till bestie's finished with her wedding, right? Or you might come back from that holiday and you'll be like, I'm just so relaxed. I feel like I can apply for that position at work. Boom, then you apply for that position at work. You're like, okay, after that. And then after you get that position at work, you're like, okay, now's the right time to start. And then all of a sudden you realize maybe you've outgrown your partner, okay? And I know this sounds a bit dramatic and maybe I'm speaking from personal experience here, but then you're like, okay, I'm going to break up with my partner. Okay, let me put my health and fat loss expeditions to one side because let me first go through this dramatic life event before I actually start. And I think you can see where I'm going with this. There's always going to be something. There's absolutely always going to be something. This thing we are tackling called life is always going to have little obstacles. It's going to have little hurdles. It's going to have social events. It's going to have your bestie getting married. It's going to have absolutely everything. You literally cannot wait to put your health and fat loss goals or your health and fitness goals. You cannot wait to start them at a later stage because later becomes never. I'll repeat that again. Later becomes never. And every time I hear someone say to me, Mandy, I'm going to wait until after X, Y, or Z, the immediate thought that goes through my head is the only reason you want to wait till after X, Y, and Z is because you have the mindset of, I've got to do it fully restrictive. I've got to give it all or nothing or else it's not going to work. And therein lies a big problem already. Because if you already got that mindset of it has to be all or nothing and I cannot have anything standing in my way, you're already forgetting that you need to create balance and create habits that you can live out for the rest of your life. Oh yeah, I can't start my health and fat loss expedition in the next 2 months because there's like just so much going on, and my bestie is getting married, and Sally from the printer, she's also invited me on a girls' weekend away, which is in 3 months' time. So I'm just rather going to wait till I get back. No, what you want to do is you want to have the perfect plan. You want to restrict all your foods. You believe you need to only eat salads, and Sally from the printer is bringing a fucking malva pudding with her to the girls' weekend away. For those of you that are not from South Africa, a malva pudding is a traditional South African dish that is really, really sweet, but it's really, really amazing. So now you're like, oh, I can't go on diet now because the girls' weekend away, it's going to have wine and malva pudding. Very good combination, by the way. Wine and malva pudding. I've heard. I don't drink wine. I eat malva pudding, though. And in your mind, you're just like, oh, well, health and fat loss and wine and malva pudding and girls' weekends, they just don't gel together, like they don't go well. So, you're just going to wait. And again, it's that mindset that you need to shift, because you need to be able to say, I'm going to tackle this today. I'm going to work on my goals from today, and I'm going to learn to create balance. You are going to learn to create balance. You're going to learn that you cannot stop living your life in the pursuit of fat loss. You literally cannot do that. That is going to be the most tedious, tiring thing that feels like a chore. You have to learn to create balance. And by balance, I mean add in your bestie's wedding into the equation. Sally from the printer, going away with her for a weekend, adding that into the equation, right? You don't need to stop living your life to achieve your goals, especially your health and fat loss goals. I wouldn't want anyone to stop living their life in the pursuit of health and fat loss goals, because you still need to live your life. You need to learn how to create balance. Unfortunately, the creating of the balance part is a lot more difficult than it is to do something drastic and go fully restrictive. But again, we know that there is no sustainability in that approach. So again, stop waiting for the right time. Start working on that mindset. Balance. Balance is key. Sustainability is key. You can go on holiday. You can enjoy the weekend away. You can go to your best friend's wedding, and you can still work on your health and fat loss goals. But like I said, most of the time when someone says to me, now is not the right time, or because I've got X, Y, and Z taking place, immediately my thought is, you want to go fully restrictive, or it's that all or nothing mindset where you say to yourself, if I can't do it 100%, what is the point of doing it? And that, my friend, that is what you need to start working on breaking. You don't need to go now and look for generic recipes or a generic training plan. Your biggest struggle right now is working on that all or nothing mindset, breaking that all or nothing mindset, and telling yourself that you don't need to fully restrict absolutely everything, and you don't need to stop living your life for health and fat loss to take place, or for you to create, I want to say, a healthier lifestyle. A healthy lifestyle isn't only about fat loss. A healthy lifestyle is about absolutely everything. A healthy lifestyle is one where you say yes to things that you want to do, and you know that they're not going to stand in the way of you achieving your goals. And I'll leave this episode the way that I started it as well. There's never going to be a right time. There's absolutely never going to be a right time to start working on your goals. Start now, stop delaying it, because delaying it means that you're never going to do it. Okay, and I know that sounds harsh, but you're probably sitting there nodding your head at the moment, because realistically, you need to ask yourself, how many times have you delayed it because I'm just too busy right now, or you just too busy right now, or because you have X, Y, and Z coming up. Every time there's something new. And when you look back, it's 6 years later, and you still haven't started working on any of those health and fat loss and fitness goals, or any of your goals, because there's always been a reason as to why you could not do it, because it was not the right time. Again, I know a little bit harsh, but sometimes you need an outsider to tell you these things. And I know I was in that position. It's always like, oh, I can't do it now because X, Y, and Z. I can't do it now because X, Y, and Z. And realistically, all I was doing was I was telling myself that I have to have the perfect plan, and I have to be on the cabbage soup diet, and I can't go away with Sally from the printer because there's no cabbage soup at Sally from the printer's party for the weekend, right? And that's why I was like, oh, I can only start after that weekend. So don't fall into that trap. You can absolutely include your social events. You can include everything into your plan and you can continue living your life. Of course, there needs to be balance. Of course, there needs to be moderation. Of course, there's certain things that you're going to have to say, no, not right now. But it doesn't mean you have to stop living your life. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you like I usually do. Keep smiling, keep laughing, and keep being kind to one another. Much love, your friend who has no idea why Sally from the printer came back into this story, Mandy.